Okay, no, it's in my 10th. Uranus is in my 10th and 12th. So the moon, even though in astrology the moon is Cancerian, of course, but in tarot it is Piscean, so 12th house, and that would be Queen and King of Cups energy. So this is where with Uranus ruling, with Uranus placed in these houses, this is for me what really probably life ends up pivoting right around this, as far as I'm concerned. Now, it pivots around everything in your chart, but everything flipped in when I turned 42. And everything I can say, everything leads up to and leads from age 42. Absolutely, including because that was the year of me causing the gas station explosion. And tribute to David Schroeder. If you look up davidschroeder.com, you can see the story on his own blog, his own website of what I did through Hampstead Research and my personal relationship with him, my friendship with him. Okay, so those are the houses. So I do the sign, the constellation, the houses, and then the aspects. So it's aspected by my sun. It's opposing my sun. It is quincunx with my Mercury, which is a leap of genius, and almost like basically an impossible leap. It's with my Venus. It's also quincunx with my Venus. So 2 major leaps need to be made involving a tower. It is trine with my Lilith, so I'm happy about that. I'm using, again, Hierophant as Chiron. So it's in near opposition because Sun and Chiron are conjunct for me. So it's in near opposition with Chiron. That means they need to be, when they're opposition, they succeed together or they fail together, right? They need to be reconciled always to each other. Square with Mars. So Mars and Uranus are pushing each other, creating the friction. So that's a good thing. It gets us somewhere. It creates progress. It creates movement where there wouldn't be any. And so that is where we start to find my fire, right? Because Mars rules first house. So my Uranus starts to connect me to my first house. Oh, I see I'm repeating some things here. Okay, because that's where those cards went. I already had them in here. That's great. Okay, I'm just gonna write. Now, in terms of card placements for planets, here's where we get a little bit specific. So if we drew a line, yes, right from the center through Uranus position, where that dot is, where I put a dot in your chart, right? So where it lines up, if we divide each constellation sign into decans, into 3 decans, 3 10-degree, yeah? So here's where it hits. In Libra, where's my Scorpius? How did I lose that? 5, 6 of Cups. Great. Is it in here? Yep. Good. Lovely. I just edited it out with the others. Okay. So first, my Uranus deals with the 5 and 6 of Cups. The necessary change and the gift from probably soulmates, right? But this is where you do the Scorpio thing of embracing, working with the other world, working with spirits. And then this is the card that most frequently shows up in my chart as a placement, the 6 of Swords. I do actually help people, it turns out, get into new homes safely, find where they need to be, literally, and that's through my house cleaning career, my business. It's not that I do that, clean homes to help people move into safe homes. It just came with it. It's to the point where it's like I can't ignore it. So, and it's been done for me. Then we hit the 12th house placement, which is the 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. Yes, but be careful what you wish for. And then, of course, this is where it also hits the 10 of Pentacles. It could hit the 9 of Pentacles or the 8 of Pentacles, but it hits the 10. So, heavy hitting, and that's why I find that it's such a strong placement for that planet. Okay, well, that's why that deck was so full. That explains that. Okay, but that's how I organize it all. So I've got And because it's hits the split between the 5 and the 6, right? So I include both of them. But that basically tells me, and I progress from the outside to the inside, because that certainly seems how that's how life has set up so far. I cannot say that I started out with, can I say that I started out with 10 of Pentacles and 9 of Cups? No, I cannot say that at all. Definitely this is where it starts. So fingers crossed, this is where it ends. Okay, I do the same for the other planets. Saturn, what the hell did I do with Saturn? It's under my, Saturn being co-ruler, yes, in my Leo, which is the Knight of Wands, yes, and Cancer, Page of Cups, right? So my Saturn has to deal with Knight of Wands, and so all your fears, boundaries, and everything. And it's in my 9th house, which is King and Queen of Wands energy, and my 8th house, which is Knight of Cups energy. And its placement is, it's aspected by, now you can't technically aspect by a south node because a node is not a planet, but it's a thing that you have to deal with, so I count it. What is it? I've got it listed in my book. My Saturn is the least aspected planet, which is nice, but I love my Saturn. It's biquintile with my south node, which there's like a master energy there, and that's what you're comfortable with, where you're coming from. It's quincunx with my moon. Where the hell did I put the moon? I lost it. I need another moon. I borrowed it from somewhere and put it somewhere. That's okay. Do I have one here? I do. Let's stick a moon in there, okay? So there's an impossible genius leap between my Saturn and my moon that needs to happen. And it's near conjunct, my Saturn's near conjunct with Mars. So it's like twin energy, right? Saturn and Mars, twin energy. And so, yeah, these are the cards that progress through, that my Saturn progresses through, because it's starting in Leo, and it's hitting the midpoint between the 6 and 7 of Wands. Then it's going through Cancer in the 4 of Cups position, and then it's going through my 9th house in the 10 of Wands position, and then my 8th house in the 6 of Cups position. So that's how I do it, and that's how I've done it for my... now I have a moon. Here are my placements, right? My moon's in Aquarius, in Pisces. So, Pisces and Aquarius in my 4th and 3rd houses, and it's aspected by my Venus, my south node, because it's conjunct with my south node. It's aspected by my Mars, and of course my Saturn and my Neptune, and these are the cards that it hits. It's the split between bordering, 9 and 10 of Cups, the south node position in Aquarius, the 10 of Swords. So but then we look at, see how the 10 of Swords is repeating, right? See how cards repeat. So see how this 9 of Cups is repeating my Uranus position, yes? So then it's interesting to see how the moon and Uranus connect through the 9 of Cups, right? So let's just take a look at that for a second here. Because Saturn, right? Saturn with the 10 of Swords. Where did we? Right? And moon with the 10 of Swords. That's a clue of how to work those two together, right? Where they're sympathetic with each other, or where the action will happen between them, yes? Love this. I love what Tarot does for us in this. If only they let us in on the secret. That's the only thing. They think it's such a fun game. Such a fun game. And meanwhile, how many of us are murdered and enslaved? And so anyway, so just a visual here. Moon and 9 of Cups and Uranus and 9 of Cups. So those things need to be working together. Right? I have nothing to line up 10 of Pentacles with. There is no other placement for me there, as I've said. So, but that's the thing that you can do to study in terms of, because then I've got there, yeah, absolutely. Again, 4 of Cups repeats for me, and 2 of Swords, because it's moving through the 4th house and it's moving through the 3rd house. And that's how I place them, of course. So, then I study emotionally, psychologically, whatever, or astrologically, what it means, and pattern-wise. This is my moon, this is my conscience, right? For me. In Vedic, they would say, in Vedic, you follow your moon placement more than your sun placement. Or your rising. More to the point, more than your rising. It's your moon placement is how they determine your core personality and also your mind. For me, it's more the conscience. For me, Mercury is more the imagination mind. And moon would be conscience mind. So that's how I make up decisions about things. That's my process. My North Node is in, of course, in my 11th in Virgo, right? And it's uniquely only in Virgo. It is not in any, it's not in Libra, it's not in anything else. So definite King and Queen and King of Swords energy. It's in my 9th house with more King and Queen energy. It's aspected by my Sun, my Venus, my Chiron, my Jupiter, and these are the cards for it. Again, because it's repeat Virgo overlapping energy, so the 7 of Pentacles and the 5 of Pentacles are overlapping for me, which is very interesting. And we'll progress from the 7 to the 5. Then this wonderful 8 of Swords, and that's it progressing. That's my 11th house placement for my North Node, proving myself to myself, right? The Great Escape, the Great Escape. So my North Node, of course, it's an opportunity to see how my North Node has the 8 and 9 of Wands, and it's my Saturn. My Saturn has the 10 of Wands, right? So you look at how the completion with the 10 of Wands, because that's one of its cards, right? And you've got 9 and the progression to this. So look at how defining this is to this. And so the progress, the process of the Saturn placement compared to North Node, again, just contrasting those energies. And again, my Pluto is in Libra season, in Virgo constellation, of course, in my 11th. And I forgot to get King and Queen of Swords energy for that. I think I might have run out of cards. But again, so that would be King and Queen of Swords energy. Temperance with 9th house, the other placement for it, so the King and Queen of Wands. And then aspecting, Pluto aspecting my Mercury, my Lilith, my Mars, my Neptune. And what did I notice about that? Pluto is opposing my Mercury, so these two need to be succeeding together. It's squaring off with my Lilith, so they're pushing against each other, creating friction, creating progress where there might not be otherwise. It's sextile with my Mars, so there's work that needs to be done between these two, which is interesting because they're co-rulers of Scorpius, which is my rising. Okay, so my rising rulers have a sextile between them, a struggle between them. And this will help me figure out in the tarot. It's also sextile with Neptune, and this is the card that represents all the placements of and the progression between me and my Sun. So, absolutely. So in terms of Pluto as a relationship, now what's interesting, and Mars, loves and loyalties. But yes, definitely, anytime I see this card now, I know exactly how much it's tied to my relationship with my Sun. So you need to allow time, because the sextile requires time and effort, extra effort. So yeah, and so then it's echoed by, again, here's another placement of my 6 of Swords. Then I also have the Six of Pentacles. So that's nice. 2 sixes. Gifts. Yes. Gifts that I give. Gifts that are given me. But mostly gifts that I give. As evidenced in my life, I've filled up at least 1 credit card. And I'm still paying that off. Well, I'm not even starting to pay it off. Helping people. I did what you're not supposed to do with a credit card. So then 9 of Swords, Aquarius. This is where it hits in Aquarius. So proving myself to everyone. Another 9, proving myself to everyone in Wands. And again, so we have another 10 of Wands card. So that's going to match up with the Saturn. Not only that, it's going to match up with the North Node, right? Because it's overlapping, because they're conjunct. Pluto and North Node are conjunct for me. So they're both hitting that 9 of Wands. So between Pluto and Saturn, right? But also Uranus with the 6 of Swords, right? So it's just, even if it's not, like the aspect between Pluto and Uranus isn't there in the, it's not showing in the aspects, but it's showing in the cards. Is it? Am I remembering right? Yeah, of course I am. Right? And then you have Saturn. Where'd Saturn go? Saturn with the 10 of Wands, right? So there's a relationship right there between Pluto, Uranus, and Saturn. These are, I just love it. You know, what do you figure out about yourself this way? It's just awesome. So that's where we're at. Very involved, but again, you get it noted down, you get it visualized, take photos, and then you're that much closer. Then you release. You let your mind work with that, right? And there we are. So what I've done, just to finish up, we have, am I still recording? Yay! So I've printed up the rest of the weeks, and then so next week is future thoughts for this house, who's helping you in it, and I will have my little photo display for that. Right, and then I'm gonna finish up going back, backtracking and filling in my filling in those headers and catching up on predictions, but I need to do that for the other houses as well, the other air houses. So I'm gonna get all caught up on the meditations. I'll do what I can. I'm not going to try to do everything, because I still gotta, number one has to be delivering beginning of drawing and getting that out there. But I did print up, and I have been starting to make notes here and there in the air story pages. So I'm looking forward to that. And then yes, what I've done is I've isolated, I've put all the water pages to one side so that it's not so common. This is all just the air. So then I'm gonna go back through Gemini and Libra and get finished up on those as and when I can. So I've got a couple more weeks, do my best to do. I'm gonna prioritize what needs to be done for now. And then I'll just keep catching up on things as I go. Really got to clean out my camera and my phone. But yeah, so that's where we leave it for now. And yeah, that is week 26 on to week 27. I can't believe it. We are on page, this puts us on page, like the air element, we're going to be at 192, 193, 194. So, you know, we are halfway through our chart. Oh, yes, okay. All right, until next week, much love.